Well, hi again. Thanks for listening to Griffith Realty's podcast of Land and Legacy. I'm Scott Griffith, president of Griffith Realty, and Carol, my sister, is vice president of Griffith Realty. And we're here today. We're going to talk a little bit about sort of how economic development takes place in Livingston County and our towns. As Carol will testify to, it takes a concerted effort to create economic development. You can't just wait for it to come. If you don't aggressively work on it, your community has the potential to be looked past and even die. And I think Livingston County has done an excellent job over the course of the years in developing a base of attraction and economic development. There's a couple different levels we can talk about. We thought we'd talk about today. One kind of more on a county level through the economic development side. Carol, I mean, as you know, you've been a county commissioner, and I've been on the board. And now you're on the EDC board. I mean, some of the things that you're focused on.
I think one of the important things to know about whether we're talking about the Economic Development Council or a downtown development, but one of the really great things that Livingston County does well is we've got a roadmap. We talk about this, and we all know that these groups bring vitality to Livingston County, whether it's our downtown or just our counties in general, and that attracts people. So that creates a good type of development or a good type of retail or a good type of restaurants. All of that brings vitality. So the Economic Development Council of Livingston County was established in 1983, and that just promoted investment and growth in Livingston County. And then as things progressed in 2012, the Economic Council partnered with Ann Arbor Spark. And so what that has done on a more county level is we work together, we collaborate together to have a larger attraction, if you will, to Livingston County. And what we're looking for there is for the growth, really defined growth, for commercial businesses to come into the area, to get our name out rather than just saying we're from Livingston County, we're from the Ann Arbor, Livingston County, Oakland County area, is a larger track if we're, attracting someone, say, even from overseas, whatever. So it's proven to be very successful. We have a very, very good working relationship with Ann Arbor Spark. They have offices now here in Livingston County, and their whole is to promote Livingston County. They know what we need in attraction to create more vitality in Livingston County. They know the ins and outs. They know the population. They know the needs of those who have industry here, what they're looking for to develop a good workforce, and again, they know how to attract and retain. A big piece of this is retaining those that we have in the community that have been really good partners.
Yeah, I think on the attraction side, by being partnered with Spark and bringing their culture of attraction, we've become very regional, which is very, very successful to Livingston County. I know, having served on the board like you have, Carol, and so forth, that we have many foreign transplants companies in our area, because when they look at us from afar and they see the state of Michigan and see the crossroads of US 23 and 96 and the workforces around it and the green fields, that we're very desirable. And of course, I think, as we say, Spark has helped us harness a lot of that locality aspect into a regional EDC framework. The big thing that I have noticed, and I think we're going to discuss a little bit about today, is, as we have this plan for the county and its economic growth, attraction, and retention of its employees, on a more local level, each governmental unit, and more specifically the municipalities, have said, what do we want to do, or how do we do economic retention or development? How do we keep our downtowns vibrant, the most important part? Back in 1988, the city of Brighton, I think, created the first Downtown Development Authority, or DDA as it's become known. I had the honor of being on that committee and being the chair for many years. and I'm still on the DDA. And DDAs are another economic force. Philosophically, they were developed in communities because historically municipalities had so many ways the boards were being divided up with people's concerns about everything from sewers to utilities to police to you name it, and keeping an eye on the economic business side of it was not necessarily a priority they could keep. So by carving out a DDA or a downtown development authority and then having funding sources for them, that organization could stay focused on helping keeping the municipalities, downtowns, or whatever area they create a DDA and vibrant for economic development. In Brighton, the DDA has been expanded a number of times, so it's up and down Grand River and Main Street, not just the Main Street of Brighton. Howell covers, I know, most of Grand River and Michigan Avenue of the business district. Both, I know, Fowlerville and Pinckney have DDAs, have done different things, and everybody has a different way of doing it. There is no prescription. It's just they're an authority that operates somewhat autonomous, at the same time included in each of the municipalities. The difference is the board members are appointed by the municipality's board, so they still have that control over it, and they're using many times tax money that's been collected from the community. So in the situation of Brighton, to use the best example, the government granted certain abilities to be able to fund projects and to bond and do things so that we could get things done. So what we do is we capture tax money from that district, typically over a base. It's called a TIFA district, tax incremental financing. The municipality locks in their tax base for a period of years at the same level it was at, but as it increases, the increase can be used by the Downtown Development Authority for their different projects and different plans. For instance, in Brighton, when we formed our DDA, we agreed that we would only capture half of that money and the other half would go back to the taxing authorities so that it was more of a partnership and not just a tax grab. Now, DDAs, as good an instrument as I believe they are, have their own controversial sides. I remember a editor of the paper used to feel very strongly that they shouldn't be formed, since you're using tax money. The city councils should be directing it, and they shouldn't be able to divide down, be able to carve out a DDA. But I think over the years, in collaboration and communication, DDAs have demonstrated they can work very well together and serve the purpose that they were called out for, even if all that tax money could be used for other things. So I sort of point these out. I know in the city of Howell, they've had a downtown development manager at times that has helped in helping create a vision there. In other communities, they've had sometimes managers, sometimes the board's done most of the work. In Brighton, historically, we haven't had a specific DDA manager, but there has been someone on the staff of the city who has administrated the DDA's backside while the board's not meeting, type thing, or do the work. The DDA in Brighton has had a number of it. Some of the most famous things that you see are the flower programs. The Tridge was actually a DDA project. Most of the parking that has been done since the 90s has been created through money captured and work done by the DDA. And all of this is an attempt to make our downtown more vibrant, to try to help energize it. During the recession, the DDA really pressed hard on trying to attract restaurants because we knew that brought people downtown, and we would try to coordinate liquor licenses and so forth to try to create more activity. And for better or worse, I think it's worked very effectively. That downtown's a very desirable place, and I think we caught the front end of the how would you want to call it, the kind of the wave of the everybody wants to go to the small vibrant community attraction, and that's what Howell's created and Pinckney's created and everybody's trying to create and Brighton's created.
Well, I think with DDAs and economic development that's planned, we can kind of look at all of that floats everyone's boat.
Yes.
So in other words, when the attraction comes in, when restaurants come in and shopping comes in, it brings foot traffic, it brings people to the downtowns and the surrounding areas, so they're going to also spend their money here in the community. It's the same way as if we bring in industry or a new business comes into town, they're going to eat lunch at our local restaurants and go to our hardware stores and do those sorts of things. I think another part that has been kind of a neat thing since we are realtors,
Yes.
Downtown Brighton and Howell has utilized some of the resources of placemaking. And these are grants that have been provided through the Michigan Association of Realtors and the National Association of Realtors. And then I know you and I have both contributed toward those grants to make that possible. So the idea is for attraction for families to come down to the area.
And to be clear, I mean, we're proud to say through Griffith Realty, we've done matching grants, which allowed for the money to get flowed into these communities to do certain things like alley projects and some art projects and so forth. And so we're proud of being able to be intricate to that aspect of it.
I think it's always fun for us because we can see that the general public probably doesn't know that, we contribute personally to that, but it gives you that, for me, that feeling of satisfaction that, wow, we've given back to the community and
when you grow up here,
a nice way.
I share this.
Yes.
I mean, to be able to see progress, at least it feels like constructive progress is really exciting, and to see people enjoying themselves is all you can really ask for, right? Especially when your kids grew up here and your parents grew up here and your grandparents grew up here. So anyway, yeah. So probably one of the things I thought I would share today was talking a little bit about some big projects, and I'm most familiar with Brighton and the significance of what the DDA has decided to do in the city of Brighton, and it's going to be a dramatic impact both in its conclusion and as the process goes. In the next year, starting in the year 2023, there's going to be periods in which the entire Main Street of Brighton will be rebuilt. It'll be more of a performance venue designed Main Street. Obviously, the road will continue, and there'll be bollards and planters placed that'll help you know where the road is. But during major events, they'll be able to remove these items, and there won't be curbs and pavement. It'll be a spectacular area. This includes rebuilding the Mill Pond Park area. Part of the project, because it's so significant in Brighton, is reworking the dam, which is there's been some flooding issues because it just needs maintenance. And even as far as part of our projects will include doing work on the Tridge. The Tridge is now nearly 30 years old.
It's hard to believe.
It's difficult to believe it's been there that long. But when you take wood that long, things start to deteriorate. There's a lot of work that needs to be done there, and nothing's ever small in a community project or municipal project. So there's going to be some dramatic impact. We are so concerned about the economic vitality of our downtown merchants, and there are going to be periods during the summer of 23, in the summer where some places in Main Street will be completely closed. So we're going to be trying to get people to come down and enjoy downtown and still fight the battle of not being able to drive through downtown. It'll obviously create all sorts of transportation issues for people who use Main Street in Brighton as a contact or a connector to the expressway. That'll happen all through 23. We hope to have it all complete by the fall of 23 so that we don't impact the primary Christmas market for Brighton, and we hope to be able to even get enough of it done that a lot of the festivals will still be able to be done in Brighton. But you can imagine what a coordinated process this will be, and it'll take a lot of communication. One of the greater things that's coming out of the process is we have is the DDA, actually the city of Brighton is paying for a employee that has come out of Spark, Denise Murray, who is now overseeing our DDA district on an almost day-to-day basis. And one of the things that she has developed in conjunction with an app developer is we will have a downtown app that businesses will be able to show where parking is, what they're put up, what they're off, what they have in the way of sales going on, be able to help people direct them around town. People be able to communicate with them. This app is equivalent to like what a mall would have for all its stores, only it'll be for the city of Brighton.
That'd be great.
It is so, Carol, it's so dramatic. I didn't make it to the meeting, but they just won a award through Ann Arbor's Spark as the project of the year because it's so unique to a downtown. So it's very, very clever. Hopefully that'll help mitigate some of the huge inconvenience that'll take place during this reconstruction process. The end is going to be beautiful, but there's always the pain in the middle. And as I've shared with you, Carol, and I guess I want our listeners to know that this project really has to be done in the year 2023 because part of the Main Street that will be done is the portion that goes from Grand River toward the expressway, but it has to get done then because it is scheduled according to what has been shared with the city from MDOT that by the end of 23 they hope to tear down the bridges at 96 in Grand River out near the Brighton Mall and rebuild that whole intersection.
Yes.
And that will destroy for a while the ability to get in and out of the go up Grand River and to get on and off at the expressways up there. So you'll have to be able to get on at the Main Street here in Brighton. And even to complicate things worse and challenge everybody more will be sometime in that same time period, they will be redoing the bridges at Lee Road as they widen and add the additional shoulder that will, the third lane that they're going to bring from Ann Arbor up to Brighton to continue to extend. So there is a lot of traffic confusion coming in the near future, and I'm afraid we're going to start with downtown and go to all the expressways with it. But the result in downtown Brighton is going to be phenomenal, and the DDA does this through bonding. The money I talked about that is collected through tax money is pledged to help pay the bonds, and we have plenty of capacity to do that, so that's how it's going to be done. I know that every community, Howell in particular, has many big projects planned too, and trying to initiate to try to get their community to go. I'm not as specifically familiar with what their DDA is doing, except for that they just are very aggressive and have been creating some very great popular things downtown to get more people downtown, especially like their farmers market and things like that.
They've got farmers markets, and they've put some new pocket parks in the area, and they do have done a great job with family organizations and having some planned events, let alone everybody's pretty well known about the concerts on the lawn at the courthouse and the food trucks that come in to serve lunch once a week and that sort of thing. So they too have done a really great job with systemic planning and coming up with some great attraction. And we all know that this attraction means that, tax dollars are coming into our community, and tax dollars, no matter how you look at it, is vital.
And even more importantly is I think people when gasoline's going to be at $5 a gallon are not going to be leaving our community, and they're going to want to be proud to go downtown, and getting away may mean going to downtown to the community you live in, not going out of town. And it's important that we have downtowns that feel vibrant and make people excited to be down there and are warm and welcoming, and then have merchants that are successful, because without successful merchants, you have empty downtowns, and we need them to be successful.
We want them to be successful,
Yes.
and to have the bragging rights of doing well.
Yes.
And so it's a great community. I think Livingston County should pride itself, and does pride itself, is that we all work really well together. And as I said before, when one community does well, it floats everybody's boat. So,
and I think, to touch on where we started, I think we have economic development is a commitment to the county, to the communities, not just a hoping it comes here, but a plan. And I think there we have some of our community's sharpest and brightest people working on trying to make sure that commitment stays in place. And I think that the return for the money invested has demonstrated to be remarkable, and I'm sure will be even more remarkable in the future. So I think the support of the EDC through, I know the EDC is funded through private and private and public partnerships.
Yes, it is.
On pretty much a 1/3 municipal level, 1/3 county level, and 1/3 private level. And on the DDAs, they are tax funded, but they're supporting their community and bringing tax money back into their community. So I think those are key facts that you need to keep in mind, that people care and are trying to make things happen. Don't you?
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too. It seems to be the common thread throughout Livingston County that people really do care.
Yeah, I think so. And let's hope it's all for good quality. So with that, we'd like to thank you for listening once again to our podcast this week on Land and Legacy from Griffith Realty, and we hope to have you listen to us again. Thank you.